Hello, welcome. Thank you for all for tuning in today. I am joined today by Mr. Jobie Patrick with Patrick Financial Services. Can you go ahead and introduce yourselves and just tell a little bit about yourself with our listeners?
Well, my name is Jobie Patrick. I own Patrick Financial Group on Grand River, just across from Meyer and Bell Tire. I've been in that building. I think they call it the Jimmy John's building now that Jimmy John's moved in. But we've been there for 20 years. We were the first tenants in the building and enjoyed servicing the community ever since.
Awesome. I bet you get some freaky fast lunch being right there.
They do deliver upstairs, which we found to be quite convenient.
I bet. That's great. Awesome. So I know that you have kind of this wonderful location in Livingston County, and you've been here for a number of years. So what are some of the services that you offer and provide?
Well, we're a financial planning firm primarily, meaning that we handle quite a few Livingston County retirees' money in the stock market. It's generally estate planning, long-term care planning. We get into all aspects of passing the estate to the children, tax advantages, pretty much everything that has to do with estate planning. The core of it all comes down to managing money for retirees, making sure they have the income they need, being protective of that principle. I'm a defensive money manager, and we just went through that last year where we were able to preserve principal during the COVID correction. So these are the things that are important to retirees, and this is the kind of money we manage.
So what does your ideal client look like then?
Well, today, anybody that's trying to get ahead of current conditions and wanting to take advantage of the tax code the way we think it's going to change, saving money for retirement, ideal clients, we've got everything from clients who send us their kids and children that are just getting started at 25 years of age. We have the ideal 55 to 65, which is kind of our normal just prior to retirement. And then certainly our 65 and up, which are our retirees enjoying retirement. So different needs for different people, and also different portfolios for people that would want more aggressive versus more protection and income oriented.
Absolutely, and that's really based on each individual client.
It is, and age, needs, and desires. It's just one of those things. Some people need income, others don't. There's still some wonderful pensions out there that people have that allows them with Social Security to live comfortably. At which point then we manage their money for maybe the next generation and passing it on as most tax efficiently as we can to the kids or the nieces, nephews, charities, wherever they want it to go.
Absolutely, yeah, that's really interesting. Now you mentioned long-term care. Could you explain a little bit about what that is and why somebody would be interested in planning for that financially?
Well, and you got to plan for it. The biggest risk to your wealth in retirement these days is your health. Getting sick, long-term care, whether it's in-home, assisted living, nursing home, or hospice. Those 4 levels of care are very expensive. If you want to keep your independence, your dignity, and not be a burden to anyone, you got to pay for it. And that comes from protecting principal over the years of taking income. One of my main objectives is to say if we can live on that income, that interest, that principal is available for end of life, and to make each spouse secure in the fact that if they lose one or the other, they can go on and finish their life comfortably. So long-term care insurance is nice to have. All insurance would be great to have if we're not insurance poor when we get it all, but certainly there are some formulas that help people decide if long-term care insurance is right for them. Others, it's too expensive, and we have to plan for the system and how to use it as best we can. And that's the big thing with long-term care. It's a big fear. Most of us have been through it with our parents. We've seen it. Very expensive though.
Yeah, absolutely. So something you definitely want to make sure you're planning for if it's attainable.
Absolutely, you want to explore it. I'll tell you, one of the formulas I use, if the portfolio can throw off a 1% or less dividend and pay a premium for a long-term care insurance policy, then it makes sense to look at it. If we're needing all of our income to get by, then long-term care insurance won't be an option. I think one of the probably concerns people have is that it's so expensive they don't even bother looking. don't be overwhelmed by that. Break it down to the simplistic and say, look, this is a formula. If I can afford it, it makes sense, and if it doesn't, then I want to plan for the alternative.
Yeah, no, that I appreciate you sharing that insight with some of our listeners, because it can be really overwhelming. So,
Yeah.
why would you encourage somebody to come talk to you specifically?
Well, I think nowadays a lot of guys have even tried to do things themselves out there, and the world's become a really crazy place. Probably one of the biggest things that I see is new legislation coming down the highway here. There's a lot of bills in the House and the Senate, and certainly I spend a good amount of my time reading those just to see everything's on the table. What's going to come out the back end? What kind of things are going to get approved or can get approved between now and midterms? And then, of course, midterms plays a big part in policy for the following 2 years. If one party keeps track or keeps control of the Congress, then things are going to be one way. If it becomes a stalemate, they're going to go another way. So the question is, how are you positioning your money for that major cross in the road there, and new legislation that comes your way? If you can react quickly to it, you can get ahead of it, and it's the kind of thing it's on our radar constantly.
Well, we appreciate that, because I know it's keeping you very busy
These days.
Yeah, especially. Well, wonderful. Thank you for just sharing a little bit of background with our listeners about what you do and why it's so important to be forward thinking in this area specifically of our lives. So wonderful. I want to also talk about today some of your charity support and what Patrick Financial Group does to give back to our community and why that's so important. So to start, I know that you've definitely done some work with Work Skills, so I was hoping that you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Work Skills is probably one of our major places we make contributions to for a couple of reasons. One, they work with special needs individuals in the community, and they have quite a nice facility where they can put them to work in a natural work environment, even with the special needs, that they have the facility to accommodate those. So one of the things that was near and dear to my heart was how they approach that whole project that they do. The second thing that came about, in the last year or so, was that they've opened up, they purchased a house, I believe it's over on Coon Lake Road, that is now a kind of a I don't want to say nursing home, but it's a facility that they can use for brain injury patients. They're doing tremendous work over there, filling those beds with people from the community or even outside the community that need that help. So Work Skills has been one of those charities that has surprised me over the years. We've been involved for quite some time now, but in the beginning, it was not really understanding the detail of their work, and then since then, touring their facilities, seeing their young people that they work with, and it's really quite amazing.
It is, and I'll just quickly add to that. First of all, thank you for supporting such a wonderful organization in our community, because they do amazing things, and Work Skills has actually been featured on our show a few times throughout the year, and they've shared about their new housing development and some of the just amazing things that they're doing. So it's just an asset, and to have you and businesses like yourself supporting it really makes it possible for them to continue to thrive and grow.
Our pleasure.
So I'd also like to talk a little bit about some of the other organizations you're involved in, including Reaching Higher. Can you share with listeners a little bit about what Reaching Higher is?
Reaching Higher is amazing. Reaching Higher is a program. It's an after-school program that was started by Susie Dahlman, and they were able to put together this program that was a self-esteem program, for lack of a lengthy description. But it's a self-esteem program for kids, and it's done after school. It's been so successful. It's been adopted not only in Livingston County schools, but across the state, and I think other states now. Cleary College is starting to use it for college students. I cannot tell you how many letters I've written from young people that, well, let me say it this way, it saved a lot of lives, because you have people that join this program who are lost with today's youth. We know about the tragedy that happens, and they've been able to really help people build themselves back to a strong position and save lives. I've read the letters. I see how many lives it touches. So Work Skills Reaching Higher is a program that is really designed and tailored to the individual for a self-esteem and getting them back into out of a dark place, let's say.
Wow, interesting. I actually have never heard of this. So I love participating in the show and bringing guests on like yourself. So I learn something new about our community and our businesses every time. But that sounds like an absolutely phenomenal organization. How do they do that? Do they have special programming? Do they just do activities with this group?
If you check into the local school system, you'll find that Reaching Higher is, if you ask for it, the program is generally attached to most of the schools, the school district we have here. And it goes all the way to Detroit and up north that they're doing this in the state. And now other states are starting to adopt it and it's expanding. But it is a program that you volunteer to sign up for. There's no cost to it. And it gives tremendous mentors a chance to spend time one-on-one with students.
Fantastic, that's great. Well, thank you for sharing on that. So you have a multiple or a very diverse list of organizations that you promote here and support. So I'm going to keep going down the list here, and we have just about 2 minutes left. So I want to make sure that we cover them all. You're a supporter of Vena Dental, La Casa Denim and Diamonds, the DDA and Howell Main Street, the Howell Chamber Balloon Fest, and many local high schools and other nonprofits. So out of those lists, what are some that you just want to highlight before we have to start wrapping up here today?
Well, I think it's incredibly important to support the community with things like Vena Dental for people that don't have dental insurance, a place they can go to get service and get help. Same with La Casa. I think when it comes to the Downtown Howell Development Association, it's totally something that we've done for recognition as well as just helping the community get that leg up and go to the next level. We sponsored the flying carpet that they have that gets moved all over downtown Howell, and that was something that they flew out to Amsterdam, learned about, needed somebody to buy it. We bought it, brought it back. It's turned out to be a very handy thing for downtown Howell
It
residents.
really creates that sense of space,
Yeah,
especially
it's
during
fun.
those food truck rallies.
I think the other thing is the chamber, certainly, as you would know, is a very worthy thing to do. And the Balloon Fest, even on years like last year where we had a crazy one, we didn't have the crowds, we don't get the recognition, but we still support it because you need to be there on the years they need you, not just the years that you want to do it.
Yeah, well, we definitely appreciate that. We were needed, it was needed this year so much. So thank you so much for being able to do that.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on our show today. And real quick, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how would they go about doing that?
Patrick Financial website at patrickfinancialgroup.com or 810-225-9876. We have a wonderful staff that's been with us 10, 13, and 17 years. So they're amazing. Give us a call and we'll have a chat about what's going on in your life.
Well, thank you so much. And up next, we'll be joined by Livingston County Catholic Charities.
Thank you.